Galera, Inside Xbox direto da BGS 2016, olha só com quem eu tô aqui. É só o diretor criativo do Gears of War 4, que a propósito tá aqui na feira, pra quem vier. Se você tá em casa, tá pensando, ainda vale? Vale. Tem um modo novo aqui, que eles vão apresentar, a gente vai conversar um pouco sobre isso. Eu vou bater um papo com ele, ele vai contar mais pra vocês. So, esse aqui é o Chuck, desculpa, eu não apresentei. Chuck, this is the first time players can test the new hard mode.
Yeah.
Here in Brazil, right?
Yeah.
So, explain what's the new on hard on Gears of War. What's new on this mode?
What isn't new? I mean, that's what's great about this horde mode is most people know that Gears actually invented the horde mode, and then it's been a lot of people have evolved it and things like that. And our goal this time was to reinvent it, so we become something that other people copy all over again. And I think we've done that. It's really exciting. We've added classes, so there are 5 different classes you can play, and it's really important to know your role and play in your role as you go through horde. That's how you're most successful. So you can play as an engineer, a sniper, a soldier, a heavy, or a scout. And each one has a different role in the game, and they have different advantages because you can build out their skills over time.
So you have a little bit of strategy on
Yes, yeah, both in how you play the game, but also how you build out your character over time. So the second part of that is we've brought back fabrication or fortifications like Gears 3 had, but the difference is now there's a fabricator that you can place anywhere in the world, and you can build all of the fortifications that you want, and you can place them anywhere you want. So how you build and how you defend during a horde match is completely and totally up to you. It's complete freedom for the player, and it's a lot of fun.
Great. So Gears 4 has new enemies, we know that.
Yep.
So how do you create great new beasts after we meet the Locusts?
Well, I mean, obviously the Locusts are iconic characters, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably one of the most famous enemies in video game history. And so for us, it was how do we create something that feels familiar to the player but moves the ball down the field and starts to feel new and different. And that's what we came up with. The Swarm is in Gears, it's really important for the enemies to play certain roles during an encounter. So you have pinners who try and keep you in cover, you have flushers that try and get you out of cover, and then you also have mirrors that try and act like the player does. So they mirror whatever the actions of the player. So we start with that, and then we start to build out ideas about what do we want these enemies to do, and then how do we want the encounter to change, and what challenges do we want to create for the player during an encounter. So that's really where it starts, and then a lot of iteration and evolution from there.
Great. Nowadays, we see many franchises changing their core gameplay for many reasons. But Gears keep its main feeling since the beginning. So how hard is to innovate without losing what fans expected?
Well, I mean, innovation in games is hard, period. But for us, it was really important because Epic had owned the franchise for the first 4 games, and they did such an amazing job on it. When you talk to people about what are some of the top franchises in gaming, in the top 10, Gears is always there. So it was really important for us as the coalition taking on this new franchise to make sure that the fans knew that we understood what Gears of War is supposed to feel like and what a Gears game is supposed to play like. So that's where we started from. Once we had that feeling down and we put it in people's hands and they got the chance to play it and they said, wow, this feels like Gears, that's the highest compliment anybody can give us. That's really where we love to start. And then after that, it was, okay, what can you do differently to change and give the player more options and more freedom in when they play? And that's where we started to come up with stuff like the close cover combat, where you can yank somebody over cover and then open them up for a new combat knife kill. Or you can vault over cover and kick them out of cover. So the goal was not to change the game 180 degrees, because it's been done before to not great results all the time. It was to make sure that people understood that we, the coalition, know how to make a good Gears game, and then also to put in new innovation that made it feel different and better and felt like it was really a new experience.
Great. I asked you before, do you have any idea how loved Gears is in Brazil, right? We have really passionate players.
Oh, yeah.
Gears in Brazil.
Yeah.
More than Halo, more than Forza. So the next and the final question came from one of the biggest fans in Brazil.
Okay.
Here. Yeah. He created a hashtag in Twitter called Hot in Brazil.
Okay.
His name is Chris.
Okay.
So one of the many things Gears of War is famous for its peculiar weapons.
Yeah.
And in Gears 4 we have already seen quite a number of new ones. Are there any weapons that were created for the games but were left out? And if yes, why?
Well, there are a couple of weapons that were left out, especially the locust weapons. So things like the digger, for example. So a lot of people don't know, I'm sure Brazilian game fans know because they're huge Gears fans, that the digger is actually made up of living creatures. And what that does is it shoots those out into the ground, they dig under the cover, and then they pop up and explode. The problem is that once all the locusts died at the end of Gears of War 3, we lose any of those weapons. So ink grenades as well. That was actually a baby nemesis that you threw out and it exploded. So once those enemies are gone, you have to find replacements for them or create other things to take their place. So those were 2 weapons that aren't coming back, and it's because there's no more locust.
It's a pity. Thank you so much. Gente, pra quem tá pensando em vir pra feira, por favor, venha jogar, porque, cara, é a primeira vez que a gente vai ter a opção de testar o Horda. Eu vou fazer isso daqui a pouco e o Inside continua daqui. Um abraço.